Today I'm going to talk about the film Sin City from 2005. Sin City is directed by Frank Miller and by one of my favorite directors of all time, Robert Rodriguez. He's my favorite Mexican director. Yes, I like him more than Guillermo del Toro. I said it. Now, what makes Rodriguez so great? The way he works. He can work on the production very cheaply and effectively, like I said in my El Mariachi review. Now this movie, okay, so let's see this. El Mariachi is amazing because he was so effective with a cheap budget, and this film is so amazing because it's such a faithful adaptation of the Sin City comic book. Robert Rodriguez said he doesn't want to make Robert Rodriguez's Sin City, he wants to make Frank Miller's Sin City. So according to Frank Miller, Rodriguez hounded him to come down and make a Sin City movie, and then he just said, look, I'll make a test shoot, and one day you come down and see what it turns out. If it works, we'll make the movie. If it doesn't, it'll be like a cool DVD extra. And Frank Miller was like, wait, a day? People get a coffee in a day. He's been on film sets before, and he doesn't have a very good record with Hollywood. They pretty much threw away his RoboCop 2 script. So he went down and they shot a scene. And Frank Miller liked it, and he saw what Rodriguez can do with CGI and digital effects. Now that Rodriguez is pretty much shooting digitally in this point of his career, so he agreed to do it, and that's how he got Sin City. Now let me tell you what I love about this movie.
I see a crazy calm. You're sick of running.
The movie opens actually with the scene they actually did the test shot with. It's the scene of the customer is always right. Now, this is probably the most film noir thing about Sin City because it's not really film noir. It's more of how Frank Miller said he just thinks is what it's cool. And Josh Hartnett and Mary Shelton play the customer and the man. And Josh Hartnett is pretty much a hitman. And now we get to an amazing shot that's done very easily and very effectively now that it's a digital movie. Now this whole movie is pretty much made in green screens, and they add the backgrounds and everything, which is a lot more difficult than you'd think. And now we get an opening credits where we see the name of the actor and their comic book counterpart. I love this credit so much, I stole it. And like all Rodriguez films, he comes out in multiple times of the credits, including here. And here. Now, interesting story. In order for Frank Miller and Robert Rodriguez to direct this film together, Rodriguez had to leave the Directors Guild. Now that's have some balls. I mean, that's having some balls. We are introduced now to Bruce Willis as Hardigan, an honest cop in Sin City who is retiring due to a heart condition. I love this shot and the narration. Very cool.
1 hour to go. My last day on the job. Early retirement. Not my idea. Doctor's orders. Heart condition.
Then we meet his bumbling partner, Michael Madsen, who is more of a corrupt cop who doesn't want to stop a senator's son from molesting and killing a girl because he fears they'll be killed.
Hardigan, I won't let you do this. You're gonna get yourself killed. You're gonna get us both killed. I won't let you, I warn you.
So now Hardigan does what's right and tries to save Nancy. And here we have a cameo by Ron Swanson.
So pinheadedly covered, temporarily remanded to our custody, though it may be.
And now the heart condition is getting to him. This is a great shot. Now this shot right here is taken straight from the comic. Rodriguez said he wanted to do a faithful adaptation, so he uses the comic as storyboards.
Very good girl, Nancy. You've been very quiet. Don't be scared.
And this movie is great being a comic book because this is not realistic. So now Hardigan corners Rourke's son, shoots him, and takes away his weapons. Both of them.
Take his weapons away. Both of them.
I love that. but then is shot in the back by Bob, his partner. I really like Michael Madsen's performance here, just because he's not even this really corrupt cop. It's just he values his own life so much that he doesn't want to die just because Hartigan wants to do the right thing. So Hartigan saves Nancy, and that's the end of that story.
Getting sleepy. It's okay. She'll be safe. An old man dies. A little girl lives. Fair trade.
Well, wait, you say. If you read the comic books, you know that's not the end of that yellow bastard. You'll see what I mean.
I'm staring at a goddess. She's telling me she wants me. I'm not gonna waste one more second wondering how I've gotten so lucky.
Now we're introduced to the greatest character in the film, Mickey Rourke as Marv, a big lughead who's about to get some great pussy. And that pussy is so good, after she gets killed, Marv vows to kill somebody over her.
Saloon. Why the kindness, Goldie? Cops. They're telling me too much. Showing up before anybody but me and the killer could know there's been a murder.
Somebody she just met. Somebody he just met. There's a cool scene where he gets to fight with some cops. And now he goes into Super Mario level. We meet his parole officer, played by the great Carla Gino, who gives him pills because her girlfriend is a shrink.
You're the best.
And now we get to see more of Marv, who is not very smart, but he is kind of smart, figuring out that Goldie seeked him out because he was the biggest, toughest guy she could find, and she knew she didn't want her dead. So now Marv vows to give him the hard goodbye, and that's also the title of the comic that part of the movie is based on. And after being cornered by some hitmen, Marv finds out through a priest, played by Frank Miller, about Rourke is behind all this.
Rourke, you really are pushing your luck, Padre, feeding me garbage like that. Can't be that big.
There's a farm out North Cross in Lennox. It's all there.
And he goes to a farm to figure things out. And then he is put face to face with the killer of Gould.
I go blind. Not a sound. Nobody's that quiet. Nobody except the one who snuck into that hotel room 2 nights ago.
Goldie, and loses.
Blew it, Goldie. I found your killer, but he was better than me.
So, and when he's woken up in a cell, he finds his parole officer, Lucille, there. And she has been eaten out by Kevin the Cannibal. That's how I met.
He made me watch. He made me watch!
So apparently, whoever is behind this has their fingers in the department and is pretty high up. They escape, but Lucille's killed by some cops.
No! Don't shoot! Please, listen to me. I'm his parole officer. He's unconscious and unarmed. So there's no need to kill him.
And Marv says,
"The target. There's no sign of him."
Here's the sign.
so Marv continues to make assumptions and finds out through the guy he killed that it's the person who is basically a cardinal and made Senator Rourke senator, and he's gonna die over a dead hooker. And he's starting to like the idea of it, but he's starting to wonder what if he's got it all wrong and turns into a crazy killer like everyone said he would.
I get confused sometimes. And with Lucille dead, I can't get my medicine. What if I finally turn into what they've always said I was gonna turn into? A maniac. A psycho kid.
I love Mickey Rourke in this movie. And I love the visuals here, the rain, the little things, the little things of Senator Rourke and his brother. They're so cool.
I'm the most powerful man in the state. He's brought down mayors and governors like they were nothing. He even made his rotten brother a U.S. senator without breaking a sweat.
Marv found out through Lucille that Goldie was a hooker, so he goes to Old Town, where the girls are the law, and finds Goldie's twin sister, who's been hunting him down, and he gets confused every time he sees her because he's got a condition. And it's bad to forget your medicine when you got a condition.
Goldie was my sister. My twin sister.
So, Wendy, Goldie's twin sister, and Marv go down and get some supplies to kill Kevin because he is one slick son of a bitch.
Damn, he's slick.
And it is so cool. Marv and Kevin have a fight scene, and Elijah Wood plays Kevin, and Mickey Rourke plays Marv. They didn't meet each other until the premiere of the film. They had an entire fight scene without being on set together. That is cool, and Rodriguez cut it so well that you can't even tell.
Is that the best you can do, Creep?
That's right, get personal, get close, I can take it.
I got you, you little bastard. Let's see you hop around now.
So, Marv brutally murders Kevin.
Finish the job. He never screams.
And then goes to the Cardinal Rourke. And played by Rutger Hauer gives a great little performance.
Touch of God Almighty.
What the hell do you know?
I know it's pretty damn weird to eat people.
He didn't just eat their bodies. He ate their souls.
And he says that they feast on humans and eat their souls. And they killed people no one would miss, basically the hookers. And now the Kevin's dead because of a door, Goldie. Anyway, so they then Marv gives the Cardinal the hard goodbye.
It's beautiful, Goldie. It's just like I promised, only better. And when his eyes go dead, the hell I send him to must seem like heaven after what I've done to him.
And yeah, Marv is of course detained, and he is executed, and he still sees Goldie in his eye, which is a cool shot at the end, also from the comic. Now we have our next story. The big fat kill was Benicio del Toro. Also, he's trying to get into the apartment of Shelley, who is with another man.
Too often, especially the kind of total jerk loser who has to beat up on a girl to make himself feel like a man.
That hurt, Shelley. It's one thing for you to play a hard.
Who was apparently getting gangbanged by black guys. What?
Jackie boy, it's a regular African love fest in here.
Anyway, this is Dwight, who isn't a big fan of Jackie boy.
I don't need to grieve.
Hi. I'm Shelley's new boyfriend, and I'm out of my mind.
He goes after him, but Shelley tries to tell him something, but he doesn't listen. So Jackie boy drives him all the way to Old Town, where the girls are law. I know I just said that, but it's important. And basically he fucks up and gets killed in Old Town. But Dwight finds out that he's actually a cop. So he thought Shelley said stop, but she actually said cop.
I thought Shelley said stop. She said cop. Detective Lieutenant Jack Rafferty. Iron Jack, the papers call him. A goddamn hero cop.
So now that the Old Town girls kill the cop, that will break the deal they have between the pimps and Old Town. And then it'll go back to the bad days. So Dwight has the idea of getting rid of the bodies before anybody can find out and put them in the pits where no one can find them. The tar pits of all things. So they chop up the bodies, and there's no room, so Jackie boy has to be in the front with him.
Being right next to me.
And this great scene is guest directed by Quentin Tarantino. Now, Quentin Tarantino, this is probably the only time he ever shot on digital. He always shoots on film. So Rodriguez paid him $1 to direct a scene and see how he works with digital. And I think this scene is amazing. It's funny. Del Toro's performance, yeah, that's what we're seeing. Del Toro. Benicio del Toro's performance is so fun, and weird, and weird, and fun, and weird, because he's like that. And Clive Owen's great, straight man approach to the scene is funny, saying, "You're not alive. You're dead. I'm just hallucinating." It's great.
Yeah, bud.
You shut the hell up, Jackie boy. You're dead. I'm just...
Dwight makes it to the tar pits, but someone ratted out the girls from the old town and told them that a cop has been killed. So mercenaries go after Dwight in a cool action scene. Dwight is saved by some of the girls, and now they only have Jackie Boy's head for evidence. But Dwight's warrior woman, Rosario Dawson, the character, has been kidnapped by Matute, played by Michael Clark Duncan.
Between your prostitutes and the police will be shattered. There'll be arrests.
So Dwight has a big plan. He's gonna trade the head of Jackie Boy for his warrior woman. So they meet at a place that they have the high ground. It's over, Manute. I have the high ground. Anyway, so he gives Jackie Boy's head, but there's something weird. Why is he tape around his mouth?
Now, if you'll explain...
It isn't right! There wasn't no tape over his mouth! How come there's tape over his mouth?
Because he's about to explode! So now they have the big fat kill, where all the girls from Old Town murder all the youngsters, and making a message that Old Town will always be run by the girls. Oh, and guess what? We're back to that Yellow Bastard storyline. And here we meet Senator Ward, played by the great Powers Booth, who's no longer with us. I love him in this scene. He's so sleazy and businessman-like. He said he's gonna, blame everything on Hardigan, even though it was his son who was trying to rape that girl.
Power comes from lying. Lying big and getting the whole damn world to play along with you. I could pump you full of bullets right now.
So Hardigan is in jail, and he keeps getting letters from Nancy, that's Cordelia, a detective character name, and he's just, that's the only thing that keeps him going is the...
She calls herself Cordelia, just like she promised. She makes no mention of anything that would give her away. At first, I figure she'll send another note or two before her young mind moves on to better things. But every Thursday, another one.
Letters, but then after a while, letters stop coming, and then some Yale guy's there. But so he figures out that something happened to Nancy, so he confesses and gets released from jail. Bob is there, trying to make things up. He tells him that his wife is now remarried and has kids, which Hardigan says, that's good. She's always wanted to have kids. Now I love this scene where Hardigan realizes Nancy's alright, and she's also an exotic dancer, and he's trying to get out before Nancy notices him, but of course Nancy notices him.
They were bluffing. I've led them straight to her.
So they leave, they stay, they get chased by the yellow guy who smells bad, who's actually Rourke's son after his terrible surgery that makes him yellow. And now they're in a hotel. Nancy tries to make a move on Hardigan. Hardigan, of course, is like, dude, I'm not old enough to be your dad. Stop.
Wrong and there's wrong and then there's this. For God's sake, she's just a kid.
I love you.
Then the yellow bastard follows them to the hotel, puts Hardigan in a noose, and leaves him nude. That was probably the other time I've seen Bruce Willis naked. The first time was Pulp Fiction. And, of course, the yellow bastard takes Nancy. I do like this line, though.
little old for my taste, but I can forgive that just...
You're the true pedophile. Anyway, so Hardigan gets loose, goes over there, and fucking murders the yellow bastard by taking his weapons away. Both of them.
They take away his weapon. Both of them.
This scene is so brutal, I love it. So, the day is saved. Hardigan saved Nancy once more, but he realized he'll never be safe. He's still alive, so... Old man dies, young woman lives. Fair trade.
Never be safe. Not as long as I'm alive. There's only one way to beat him. An old man dies. A young woman lives. Fair trade.
Now this scene is so sad and so beautifully shot, and it's taken straight from the comic again. And now, in our final moment, is the return of the hitman, who's gonna, I think, probably has to kill Becky after she ratted everybody out, and offers her a smoke.
Becky. Care for a smoke?
And that was Sin City, the greatest comic book adaptation of all time. It is so faithful to the comic. It's like, no one's like, you know, I watched that X-Men movie. I'm not a big fan of Chris Claremont's writing. Because a lot of people were they're not a big fan of Frank Miller's writing because that was his writing. They took the dialogue, the images, everything from the movie, from the book, and made it into the movie. And it's so visually stunning. I mean, for 2005, this movie is gorgeous to look at. The way there's mostly black and white, except for a few colors here and there, is so good. And, yeah. The green screen effects are great. Rodriguez's direction is great. Now, if you're going to say, well, Frank Miller directed it too, just think of this. Frank Miller's solo directed movie was a Spirit, so yeah, that's probably all Rodriguez is doing for the most part. Frank Miller was there to give it a stamp and a directorial voice that said, yeah, I approve of this message. And Tarantino's film part of the movie is great. And yeah, it's just an amazing film how Rodriguez was so able to capture the comic book so perfectly. Alright, so that has been my video on Sin City. Remember to like this video, comment the video, and subscribe if you'd like to. Honest Critic, out.